representation is important, and perfect representation is always the goal we are striving toward. And also, I need people to recognize that most of our film discourse comes from people who have never set foot on a film set, and who do not understand the intricacies, messiness, and complicated nature of real-life filmmaking. I am a very mask-presenting writer, director, and producer in the age of Me Too. One of my characters is a bisexual woman. The actress was cast before the bisexuality was determined. There is a lot of messiness in approaching that. The first thought would be just ask the actress, are you bisexual? But I want you to remember, I am a mask-presenting writer, director, producer who also owns the studio. There is an inherent power imbalance there. So what happens if she says no? Or what happens if she's straight and feels like she has to lie to keep the role? And if we did, hypothetically, try to recast the actress, how do I, a mask-presenting writer, director, producer who owns the studio, sit in a casting room with a femme-presenting person and ask, are you bisexual? If not, you do not get the role. No matter what the situation is, there is no appropriate way for me to ask that question. Really, the best case scenario is to have somebody else ask that question, like our intimacy coordinator, Liz Whitaker. And then there's all the discourse about representation and pulling people out of the closet prematurely. But even if we found a perfect solution to that whole scenario, what about the other side of the equation? The villain in my movie cannot be queer, because I refuse to villainize queer people in this movie. So I have two options. Either cast a queer actor to play a straight, cis villain, which you can see the problems with that, or I intentionally cast a cis-het actor. And in practical terms, how do you cast a cis-het actor without coming across as bigoted? Because a casting call that says cis-het actors only, that's a bad look. But if we don't acknowledge it, and then we only consider cis-het actors and just throw out any applications from queer actors, that's a bad look. And to make all of that more complicated, the cis-het white guy is a very specific character who requires very specific things from the actor. So we got 4 applications total. And with the bisexual woman, no one responded to our casting call. I had to go through my contacts and think, who would play this character well? Now, somehow, everything worked itself out by accident, in ways that are frankly not my story to tell. Now, some people are going to want to comment about how if something had been different, then this wouldn't have been a problem. Maybe if we had a femme-presenting director or something like that. Please comment that. It adds to my engagement, which boosts my creator fund, which helps fund the movie. And as you comment that, I want you to notice that is the point. The entire point is that imaginary hypotheticals that we make up are easy to diagnose from our armchairs over Tumblr or TikTok. But when you actually start making a movie in the real world, the entire process is nothing but taking wildly imperfect situations, making them a little bit better, and then saying, that's the best we're gonna get. This is why we need more of our film discourse to come from people who know literally anything about filmmaking. And this is why we need more of our film discourse to include a little bit more grace and empathy and compassion. To say they took an imperfect situation and they did the best they could with it. And I can tell you from experience, all situations are imperfect. In the meantime, I'll use my heist movie to support my queer community how I can, while also recognizing that all situations are imperfect, and I do not have all the knowledge on everything. And I ask, as a favor, that you recognize the same thing. Follow for more behind the scenes.